This video is going to talk through the logistics of two main things. The first is how to connect your iPad to your laptop in order to share your iPad screen. And then the second is just how to use the trackpad and multiple desktops and split screen to really make the most of your laptop screen real estate. So a couple of different things here. I'm in a Meet. I'm the only one in here, but I just wanted to show this is my Meet window. Behind it, I also have a presentation that I want to share, as well as I have my laptop screen. The way that I connected my laptop screen is just hardwired. So this is just a picture of it. Here's my laptop. I have a Lightning to USB. It's the same charging cable that I would normally use to plug into an outlet, but I've just plugged it into my dongle. You guys would use your black and blue kind of checkerboard dongle. I don't have one of those, so that's the Lightning to USB into the dongle into the USB-C, which is then plugged into your laptop. So once you do that, what you have is then it's hardwired in there. Now, there's no problem with if you wanted to, instead of doing it that way, to download the Meet app on your iPad and then join as another participant. But there's some people that are reporting there's some connectivity issues or the video is really slow, it kind of lags. So then the alternative is to use something called QuickTime Player. It's going to pop up a little window to try to open something up. You can just ignore it and then click File and New Movie Recording. So New Movie Recording. I'm going to cover up my camera just so it doesn't pop up right now. So this is my thumb. Oh, you saw me for a second. But I'm going to choose right here next to the little red record button. I'm going to choose this little caret. And then the camera, instead of using my FaceTime camera, I'm going to use, this is my iPad. So I renamed it with a little lightning bolt so it was easy to find, but iPad Katie Galt. And now, instead of my FaceTime camera, this is showing, well, iTunes popped up, but in the spirit of just owning our mistakes or issues, I'm just gonna hit quit iTunes. It might do that as well because it's trying to back up my iPad, but that's okay. So now I have my iPad screen and it's in real time. I'm moving it as we go. I can search out an app and open up that app. And so now I'm able to see the different things. Now, if I wanted to be able to use split screen, here's what you can do. So there's a couple different ways. The way I like to do it is using the trackpad and using some gestures. So I'm right now putting 3 fingers on the trackpad, and don't worry, there will be a whole actual video that I show what this looks like, but 3 fingers on the trackpad and I'm scrolling up. What it then does is gather all of the windows that I have open, but I can take my Meet and it will make a new, see how it popped up, a new little window, and I can put that there. And then say I also want my iPad and I want it split screen. Okay, so now I have my presentation here and I can use that later, but I'm going to put the same 3 fingers, instead of moving up, that's what that does. I'm going to now move to the side. And now I see my Meet on one side. And if I had my students, I could put it in the Google Grid View Fix Chrome extension and have all my students there. I don't have any students right now, so well, ever, but I could have them all here. I could still see the chat, and I'm being able to show them and scroll with my finger on my iPad. I can make that bigger or smaller. It doesn't really change what they're seeing until this is just what I'm seeing. However, then I could, down here, turn off the chat, and I'm going to present, and now I could present my entire screen, and my students are able to see that. So now that's when the secondary window pops up. This is what my students are seeing. If they're seeing both, and you don't want that, then you can move this all the way to the side or move this larger, and it kind of has that picture in picture in picture. But this is where a secondary screen, if one is available to you, becomes really, really handy, because that secondary screen, whether that's a monitor from a computer lab or a small TV, or if you have a classroom TV with an HDMI hookup, or a VGA hookup, any hookup. So then what you could do is, instead of having the Meet in one of the windows, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to just put them all to the side. And then I could have my presentation in one with my screen recording on the other. So now I could present this, and in my secondary display, I could have my meet. So then I could see that this is what they're presenting, or that's what they're seeing. But on my secondary screen, like a secondary window, and that would be like under the system preferences, it'll pop up real quick. But the system preferences and then displays, it would just be that you're not mirroring the displays. I don't have that right now because I'm not attached to anything. But if I was attached to a different monitor or a TV, it would show up here and you would just uncheck the box that says mirror displays. And that's where it kind of makes a secondary display off to the side. So then I could have this presented to my students with my presentation over here on one side, and I can even click present and the Google Slides will get larger. I could have my Seesaw app on the other side. I could kind of toggle them back and forth. I could make this take up full screen if I wanted to get rid of this. And again, this side is my iPad, but it's just that QuickTime Player movie recording. I'm not actually recording, but it's just a way to get the screen hardwired in there. And then at the same time, I'm in my Google Meet and getting to see what my students are saying. So that is just the gist. I'm going to stop presenting. Right after this, I'm going to play a movie about how to use the trackpad. And that's all. So good luck.
All right, so forgive the shaky video, but I wanted to be able to capture the trackpad and the gestures that I'm using on the trackpad to help really use the real estate of your space a little bit more efficiently. So this is our desktop. There's just one of them until we make another desktop. When we have that kind of secondary desktop or even a third desktop, what will happen is there's like an imaginary space off to the side that we can scroll back and forth, and it uses some of these gestures on the trackpad. First of all, the one that I'm using right now is just kind of all of my fingers spreading out in order to be able to see the desktop more easily, and then bringing them back together to gather up all my windows. But what I want to be able to do is then use 3 fingers and move them up, and it will spread out all of the windows that I have open. So I have a presentation, I have my Google Meet, not open yet, but onto the meet.google.com. And then I have my iPad screen, and I'll show how I got that in just a moment. But what I'm then going to do is drag my presentation up here, and it will make a new space. And then I'm actually also going to drag my iPad screen and force it into not a third one, but I'm going to force it to split screen with that. So then I can drag it off and then have 3 fingers scroll to the side. And now I have a split screen that I can choose how large or how big. So say, for example, I had slides over here that I wanted to be able to show my students. I could present those slides. And then over here, if there was a specific app that I wanted to show on the iPad, I can't click on it, but on my iPad, I would be able to open up an app, and it then opens up over here as well. Okay, so again, that is 3 fingers swiping to the right or the left, and it kind of opens up that magic screen, the desktop. You can actually make another one. If you had other things, you can click the plus sign and keep making more, and then just keep swiping in between them. All right.